Hello internet, and today is going to be another one of those book opinions. Today's book is going to be Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Now this book opinion, book review, I'm going to talk about a book video thing is going to be a little different than things that you would see on most other people's booktube channels. I prefer to have read a whole series before I give my full opinions on things. That's just how I prefer to see it, because sometimes things that I find problematic in one book or see as in one book are usually fixed in later books. So I didn't know what I was going to do with this one because I still haven't read Crooked Kingdom. I keep talking about it, but there's just this innate fear to read that book, so I haven't done it yet. So instead I decided it would be a lot more fun to talk about Hogwart houses. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if you were expecting my personal opinion on the contents of this book, I'm sorry, I apologize. You're not going to get that. You could get that at many other videos. Please click away and go get those feelings. I like this book. It was very enjoyable. It was written for me. So that's all I'm gonna say on that matter. If I ever read Crooked Kingdom, I might say more on the series as a whole in a Crooked Kingdom book opinion. But for now, we're gonna focus on Hogwarts houses because Harry Potter is a thing I can do very well. So we're gonna put our sorting hats on and we are going to sort all six crows into their respective houses. Now the reason why I came up with this idea is because when I first heard about Six of Crows here, I heard that it was the perfect book for Slytherins and the super main character, Kaz Brecker, was a super Slytherin. So I was like, what? Really? A book made specifically and written directly with Slytherins in mind, with a very Slytherin character who wasn't the bad guy? What? Thank you. And I read it and I agreed completely. Very Slytherin, very much appreciated. So I decided, well, if we can automatically sort Kaz into his perfect Hogwarts house, what about the other six crows? So I'm going to give you the six crows and which houses I believe they belong in based on the characters represented. So we're first going to start out with Nina. Now, Nina is the Grisha. She is a heart-render. She is a fighter. And I feel like her house is one of the most obvious. I mean, she wears red. She acts like a Gryffindor. She is a very brave, brash, courageous female. I mean, you only have to read the book to understand, especially when you get to the final and third act, you can see that she is fully Gryffindor. She is willing to stand by her friends. She is very loyal and brave. When we hear her backstory, we understand that she is willing to do anything for her cause, no matter what the cost. She can do so much, and she is so brave. Of course, she has some of her low points like any other character, but I believe she is pure-hearted Gryffindor with her bravery, with her courageousness, and even with her brashness and how she likes to run head first into things, as we know Gryffindors love to do. Now we're going to talk about Matthias, Nina's on and off boyfriend. So Matthias is a witch hunter or a Grisha hunter. He comes from the far up north, from a kingdom who hate Grisha and everything they stand for. He was once a part of this organization that hunted Grisha, and him and Nina have a kind of backstory as he once hunted her. So for Matthias, I would count him as Hufflepuff, and that might seem really odd to some of you who are Hufflepuff haters, but hold on, Matthias is wholly Hufflepuff. Now, one of the biggest things we see to Hufflepuffs are they are very, very loyal to whatever groups. They are openly loyal. I think every house is loyal, but with a Hufflepuff, their loyalty is one of their strongest suits. They care about loyalty above everything else, and Matthias is, if anything, loyal. Even when we see him struggle with ideas where he does not believe that the little cult that he used to be was completely right, he is still loyal to them, where he does not want to let go of that because he is loyal. He's a loyal person. To betray something that he once believed in and was a part of and love so fiercely to betray the people a part of that group just strikes him as wrong. He has to come to terms with the idea that the things that they did, like hunting Grisha, were wrong, and the moral implications as to why. He really struggles with those morals versus his loyalty, because he cares so much about the loyalty and he cares so much about those people. We see it come even stronger when his loyalty to Nina ends up overcoming his old loyalty to the crazy cult over there. He's a very, very loyal person. Now, other than loyalty, we also see that he's a hard worker. When we find him, we see how far he has come and how he has maintained his life. We see how he works hard to stay alive to ensure that he comes out on top. So he is very determined, he is very hardworking, and sometimes his extreme loyalty can cause him problems, even if it is a great trait to have. Now we're going to move to Waylon. Now Waylon, as we find out later, it's a plot point, so I don't feel like I'm hinting towards something that's a spoiler, so I'm not going to say anything because I feel like you just got to read it. But Waylon has some learning disabilities. However, I would categorize him the Ravenclaw through and through. While he is inept at many things, always willing to learn. Now we meet him at the very beginning. We learn he was not meant for criminal activities. He's very bad at it. Cass is always like slapping him, being like, "Kid, you're dumb. Why did I bring you again? You know nothing, Waylon." And Cass is always constantly like, "Waylon, stop asking questions. Waylon, everyone knows this. Waylon, quit it." And Waylon just has a thirst for knowledge. He wants to know what's going on. He wants to poke and test at things. He wants to do little experiments. He always has something going on his mind where he will come up with like these inventions or these ways that they can get away with stuff. And that's just a very Ravenclaw trait. Now, the things that we find later about Waylon, I do not think that cancels out his Ravenclaw-ness. Because to be a Ravenclaw, all you have to do is be curious and thirst for knowledge. Now, however you get that knowledge, that's up to the Ravenclaw. And Waylon, he does it differently, but he still thirsts for knowledge. And he's still very curious, and he's definitely a Ravenclaw. Next we have a Jasper. Now Jasper, I had a few problems with. I wasn't quite sure where to put him, but in the end I think I'm going to have to place him in Gryffindor. Jasper is a fly by the seat of his pants type of guy. He's very brave, he's very brash. He has a lot of the Gryffindor traits that can get you in a lot more trouble. He is Gryffindor through and through, but the type of Gryffindor where you're just like, how are you not dead yet? Jasper flies, like I said, by the seat of his pants. He is willing to risk everything for a bit of fun, and his bravery sometimes gets him into trouble. Now, while he cares about his friends and he's loyal, he's more willing to live on thrill. He's a thrill seeker. He loves the thrill of things. And I think only a Gryffindor would ever be that brave to just live off of the thrill of living and not think much else than that. And the last crow that we're going to talk about, the last crow of this group, is going to be Injin. NJ. Yeah, NJ. And NJ, I believe she belongs with her main man in Slytherin. Now, again, for this, I was like a little, what would be the best? But I think for Injin, it's almost as obvious as Kaz which house she belongs in. She is super ambitious, more ambitious than almost any other character other than Kaz. Like I think Kaz is the epitome of ambitious, but NJ's not far. I cannot say her name. I do not know how you're supposed to pronounce it. NJ is not far behind. When we first hear about her backstory and where she was in life before she met Kaz, we can see right off the back that when she's in a situation that she does not appreciate or like or wants to get out of, she's willing to do what she must to get out of that. Then later we learn she has a very Slytherin idea of loyalty. Now, Slytherins have a more tight-bound sort of loyalty than Hufflepuffs, and we learn that NJ is only keeping around in Ketterdam because she feels loyalty to Cass himself versus the crew that they run with, which is why she has yet to have the cup tattoo, because she really does not care for the group. Her loyalty is not towards the group, but towards the man who runs the scenes from behind. That is a very personal type of Slytherin loyalty. Next, we see her ambition, not only how she got out of her situations, her backstory situations, and became a companion to Kaz as his liaison spy, but also the kind of ambition she has progressing. So one of the biggest dreams that she has progressing is she never wants any other person to go through the situation she has. And she was a slave at some point, basically a slave. Yeah, she was a slave at some point, and so she wants to have a ship where she stops those sort of actions. She is basically Daenerys. You know how Daenerys kind of from Game of Thrones is like, oh no, ooh, we ain't having no more slaves in my kingdom. That's not happening. We're not selling people anymore. That's wrong. That's kind of how NJ is. She is determined. She is very ambitious. The moment she has a idea and a goal in her head, she is willing to learn anything she can to proceed with that goal, to ensure that that goal gets completed. That's why she makes an excellent spy. She is very stealthy. She is very quick. She's always set on her goal and how to get that goal accomplished. So of course we have Cass and Slytherin. I don't think that really needs any explanation at all, but those were all 6 crows sorted into their respective Hogwarts houses by me, the official booktube sorting hat. No, I'm playing. If you have any disagreements with which house you think each crow belongs in, comment down below and give me that crow and the house you believe they belong in. I'm really curious, what is your argument? These made the most logical sense to me, but I could, like I said, I could kind of see how some of the characters could go into a different house. If you make the proper argument, I might or might not agree with you. If you like what I'm doing here and you want to continue to see more, click the bunnies down below, and goodbye, Internet.